I am the CEO and owner of Lovejoy Ministry and Royalty Event Center.
That's not it. We want more. Talk to us. Talk to us.
I mean, that's who I am.
That's who she
One
is.
of God, you know.
Most definitely.
I'm just who I am.
Yes, we're free today.
Just being free, you don't want to.
Okay. So let's talk about who is Debra Bush. Who is she?
You really asking that?
Yes. Who is Debra? We want to know.
Sometimes I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't know because, the way God comes in, sometimes I question who am I, the way He held me, the things that He do in my life, so, I mean, but overall, I'm a boss. I'm Debra Bush.
Act like you know.
No,
Act like you know.
I'm just kind of,
so
this is told out of my comfort zone. Like, yeah.
That's why it's called free corner.
Yeah, but it gotta be done. So
right. Okay, so what made you decide to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, and then the field that you went into?
Right. So I didn't decide. God decided for me. I just know that I was working at a daycare. I always loved the kids. So I used to keep my niece all the time. My sister had a daughter, and I used to just keep her all the time. So I used to comb her hair, dress her up, and be pretty or whatever. But I was in prison for 5 years. And I know we probably will touch on that.
Yeah.
But I was in prison for 5 years, and I can just remember getting out, and I was working at a group home, which my family, they into that, like housekeeping, group home, daycare. So that's my family background anyway. So when I got out, I started working at a nursery home. So I wanted to do something different. And my auntie was telling me about a daycare she was working at. So I went and applied, didn't think that I was going to get the job because of my background. Right. I didn't know the requirements. So I put the application in, and they called me. And I started working in a daycare, and then it was a passion. Like, I was just getting it. It just came natural.
Right.
It came natural for me. Teaching and just loving on the kids just came natural for me. And I was there no more than probably 2-3 months. And I became a lead teacher, from a lead teacher to a director to just running my own center. So that's how I became. Then I just branched out on my own.
Awesome. How long have you been in business?
Since 2010.
2010.
I opened up my first daycare in 2010. And it was crazy because I had left Erica's Angels, and I started working for Gilton and Anointed. And this lady that I was incarcerated with, she had told me that God had told her about a year. She prophesied over me. And she said, God told me to tell you by the year of 2010 that you was going to own your own daycare, right? So I'm looking at her crazy because we didn't have no money saved up, but we had faith. And I just remember when she came in and she prophesied to me and told me that.
Y'all both share from your personal page.
Okay.
People looking for.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So how did that make you feel?
So I guess I would have to go back to I didn't know anything about profits. Right? So when I was incarcerated, she was incarcerated with me, and I had a dream about her.
Wow.
Right? And that dream, God had shown me that I was going to see her again. But she was incarcerated with me, and she used to be in the bathroom, and she used to be prophesizing over the girls, right?
In prison.
In prison. And I used to be looking at her because they used to say she was crazy. And I used to be scared. because I didn't know what it was, what prophets was. And I hurry up and go run past the bathroom because I didn't want her to call me out or call me. So I was going to the phones, and my mama was attending our home church back then. It was our home church, FDO. And when I called and she told me, she said, God told me, my bishop prophesied to me and told me that God is about to get ready to remove the shackles from your feet, like that. And I said, okay. I said, okay. And then that made me go in my room, and I laid on my bed, and I said, this lady's a real prophet. So I got up off my bed, and I went to the bathroom, and as I'm entering the bathroom, she got her eyes closed, and she's praying. And she told me, she said, God showed me you coming in the bathroom. So I was trying to sneak in a circle so she wouldn't notice that I was there or whatever. But she picked it up in the spirit, and that's when she began to prophesy over me and told me things that I didn't know about, that she didn't know about my daughter and my family.
Right.
Nevertheless, God ended up, I ended up meeting her again. And that's when she prophesied to me again after we got out of prison and told me that I was going to own my own daycare about the year 2010. And I was like, I don't have no money. I was like, how am I finna do that? Me and my ex-husband ended up just having like $3,000 saved up. And she said, you married? And I was like, yeah. And when my husband came in that evening and she met him, and she said, you paint? And he said, yes, ma'am. She said, she said, Debra, she said, if you get your husband to come and paint my house for me, I'll do your paperwork for you. And she did the paperwork for me. Within a week time, I got the license back.
Right. Come on.
But
so let me go back, Debra. Okay. I'm sorry. So you were in prison.
I was in prison for 5 years.
And this young lady, this individual prophesied to you. Well, your mom prophesied to you first, that the bishop, right?
So I was in prison for 5 years for shoplifting.
Okay.
Right? And in those 5 years, me meeting her, they shipped me to Louisiana. I was in Tutwiler, but they shipped me to Louisiana. And that's where I met Miss Van at.
Okay.
I met Miss Van in Louisiana. So a lot of girls was getting delivered and set free. They were saying that she was crazy. They were trying to have her locked up in segregation because she was getting a lot of girls free up. She only came to prison for one bad check. God sent her to deliver those girls in that prison, to deliver us.
One bad check.
And a lot of them was getting set free from homosexual activities and all of that. So they was trying to, their girlfriends was mad.
Right.
And they was getting mad and was trying to have her locked up. But God saw otherwise. She was delivering a lot of us.
Wow.
So when I got out, I met Miss Van again. I had a dream about her. And that's when she walked, no, let me back up. Ms. Alicia told me that a lady was finna come and do her paperwork for her. Right? So I had that dream the night before. And I told my ex-husband, I said, I had a dream about Miss Van, that I was going to see her. And I seen her the next day. And we just hugged and cried.
So God, all I see is God. Like, in your lowest moments, I assume, He still talked to me.
So still even in the midst of that, just believing, just having faith, right? I didn't know what God was going to do. I would have never thought that I would own a daycare, let alone 3. Okay?
3.
Yeah, so I did not see that, right? But God had a plan for me in my life, okay? For my life. All I know that I grabbed hold to something that I know that I wasn't going to ever let go, right?
So what was that feeling like? Like, for you to keep hold of it, you say you're never going to let it go. What is that like?
I just knew that God saved my life, right?
Right.
I knew that.
Tell me about your first encounter. Sorry, guys. So tell me about your first encounter. What does that like? Because it's the look in your face, like you're in love with this guy that we serve. So tell me about that connection, that first experience where you decided, I'm not letting this go. I got hope to it. This is mine. Okay.
So I was in prison again for 5 years. And when I got out, right? When I got out, we feel like that we missed something because I done those 5 years, and I feel like I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up with the world because I done missed something, right? And I got out and started back stealing again. I was home for 6 months, and I started back stealing again, right? God said, "Ain't no way that you're gonna be in prison for 5 years, and I do this in you, and you're gonna get back out and do the same thing again. I got a plan for your life, right? Because He was dealing with me while I was in there. You know, the Holy Spirit, everything. God was changing my life. Okay, so I got out. I was out for 6 months, and when I got out, I started back stealing with the same crowd. That's why when God is elevating you or you are elevated, you got to change your circle.
Most definitely.
People get mad, but it's intentional that you change your circle because you'll get right back out and start doing the same thing.
I tell the guys.
So prison didn't rehabilitate me. Prison just helped me make better choices, better decisions. Okay? The discipline that I have in my life, the structure that I have in my life. So they say prison is to rehabilitate you. It didn't, because I got back out and started doing the same thing. So when I got back out and started doing the same thing, we was coming from the mall. And when we came from the mall, it was a window that was bust. I was telling my friend, I said, I don't want to go to Brookwood. I didn't like Brookwood Mall. They was very prejudiced, right? So I said, I don't want to go to that mall. And she said, we're just going to go in and out and be quick. So as we come around that back road by Brookwood, going to Brookwood Mall, a police officer came out of nowhere. He pulled us over. And
on the way to the place.
To the mall. He pulled us over. And he ran our name. And he said I had a warrant for me for Mount Brook. Well, I knew I just had got out of prison and I didn't have any warrants. He said the reason he pulled us over because a busted window on the side. Back then, the Maximums used to have the windows where you let down on the side. So how you know it was busted? Okay, I could have just had my window let down. Nevertheless, they put me in jail and charged me with all the stolen stuff that we had stole from Central Plaza Mall. Right? So when we get there, this is when I got out. So when we get there, they ran my name again. No warrant. No warrant.
Hold up. Stop. We're going to do this again.
Okay.
You get pulled over.
We get pulled over.
You got a warrant.
They ran my name. They ran all of our names. The officer said, Debra Smith, because I was Debra Smith then. He said, you have a warrant for Mount Brook. I got to take you in. Well, he didn't let the other 2 girls go. They checked the car. They see a whole lot of stolen stuff that we done stole at Central Plaza Mall before we even get to Brookwood Mall. Okay? So when we get to the station, they run my name again. No warrant.
Girl.
No warrant. So, but they got to charge somebody with the stolen stuff. So at that moment, they charged me for it, with it. Right? So I think God showed me then. He said, I'm finna do some things, but I gotta get you together. So I remember getting on my knees in that cell, and I said, God, if you deliver me from this, I would never touch anything else again, right? But let me remind you, I had a 20 split file where I did 5 years in prison. So if I caught a case, that means that I was gonna have to go back and bag those 20 years up, right? So that means that my probation was revoked. They had to revoke my probation because I caught another charge. So I'm going through the motions of that. So as I'm going through the motions of that, God is changing my life. He's building my faith up. Just, worshiping God. I take accountability.
That's it.
Because I know
accountability.
I know that I had something to do with these stolen clothes. So I take accountability for what was mine. I just ask that when you get me out of this, that I never turn back to that again. So he had to take me through the motions. So I'm going to Jefferson County, and I know I don't want to be too long on that. But I'm going to court in Jefferson County, and I pleaded guilty for the case. So that means I'm guilty. So I got to go to White County, because that's where I caught the case at. And I got to go before that judge, the judge that didn't like me. Didn't want to. I went to prison for those 5 years on a split. Did everything that I was supposed to do. praying that he was going to bring me back to court on my split and release me.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He didn't like me.
So how
he
did
was
you
going to
get
make
out?
a zelp out of me. I had to do the whole 5 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Nevertheless, so I going through the emotions of that. I'm going to church, worshiping, praying, and all of that. My bishop, my late bishop, E.B. Wisdom, he prophesies. He tell me, the same bishop that told my mama that God was going to remove the shackles of my feet. I'm attending that church now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he say, you're going to have 3 angels in your courtroom when you go. Because I'm full in. I'm full in the church. I'm sanctified. I'm filled with the Holy Ghost. Like I'm there. Like I'm not, like
God got me.
He got me.
Right.
So he prophesies. He told me to stand up. So as I stand up, he tell me put my hand behind my back. I do that. Right. He told me to turn around 3 times. When I turn around 3 times, he said God is removing the cuffs from your arm. Right. He said you're gonna have 3 angels in the courtroom with you. Right. So I'm believing in that because one thing about God, His word, when you hold fast to the promise, is yes and amen. If God said it, He's gonna do it.
That's it.
So I don't care what man say. I'm believing what God say. God said
God
that.
told the man of God to
tell
you
me that I was gonna be set free. So that's what I stood on it. I stood on it until I wrote it in my tennis shoes in a paper.
Talk to him.
The 23rd Psalm. They know I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I feel no evil, for God with me.
Right.
I put it in my shoe, and when I went to court, we get before the judge, and he say, tell my lawyers, it's no way that you're gonna tell me that she's innocent when she done pleaded guilty to a case in Jefferson County. She's going back to prison. That's what the judge said. Okay. He said 3 angels. My 2 lawyers and my probation officer. When my probation officer got through talking, she said, Judge, I asked that you reinstate her. She has done exceedingly met all the criteria. I asked that you let her go. Like that. And he sat back up in that chair because, let me tell you, he said, there's no way that you're going to tell me that she's innocent when she pleaded guilty to a case in Jefferson County. She's going back to prison. This is what he said. Yeah. He set up. He said, I never had a probation officer to speak so highly about a client. I gotta set you free.
Exact words.
That was exact words. Let me tell you this. Everything that went before me, he locked up. My auntie told me, she said, this Holy Spirit told me to get behind you. My auntie got behind me. We were sitting on the bench for me to be called. My auntie got behind me and started praying. Okay. And everything went before me. He was locking everything up. Yeah. But everything came after me. He set free. The anointing was so high in that place. The people was running out of the courtroom telling me, please don't get back in trouble again. So for me to get back out and do something when I saw God be a lawyer and a judge and a DA in the courtroom, I don't play with him because he been just that good to me. That relationship that I had with him, that the Psalms 51, David prayer. Taking accountability and God, he said, just because of your prayer, just because of your prayer.
In the posture of your heart.
And the David prayer, his heart. It was his heart.
Yeah.
And I held on to that. And I stayed steadfast to that. And I have never let that go. Because I saw God be God. It was personal. It's personal for me.
Most definitely personal.
It's personal for me.
So what I like, because I go into the Jefferson County Jail, and that's the first thing we tell our participants. We call them champs to take accountability. To take accountability indeed to what was the root of the issue. How did I get here? And because we can't we can't heal and really grab a hold to our freedom until we get to the root of the issue.
Right.
So it seems to me as when you were praying and you were, prostrate before God, God, I know it's me. God,
right.
this is it.
Right.
And not only that, God, here it is.
Right.
You can have it.
And that's the thing that we don't, we never want to take accountability.
Yeah.
Okay, we never want to take accountability, and I'm always going before Him and say, God, show me
being
first.
Real.
Real.
Yeah,
period.
you have to.
Show me so I don't make these mistakes again. I know I'm gonna come up against something.
Exactly,
but God, at the end of the day, God, show me.
Yes.
Let me deal with me.
Yes.
I don't deal with identity crisis because I'm gonna go before God because I know who I am.
Right.
Anyway, it ain't that nobody can tell me. I know who I am and I know whose I am. It's a difference because I know I'm the one.
You better act like you know.
So when I know that I'm the one, then I know, like Bishop Teacher, he said, you can, as long as you in the will of the God and God, nothing can touch you.
Nothing.
They don't have to like you. Nothing. They can try to come up against you, but you can't touch me.
You can't. Nothing.
It's nothing that you. Weapons will form that they won't prosper because I know, long as I'm in the will of God, I'm covered.
I remember years ago, a man prophesied to my mom, and this was his exact words. He said, "God loves you so much, He ain't even gonna let you mess up what He has for you."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how much God loves us. He as long as we come prostrate and like you said, take accountability. Like, God, here I am. God, show me like David. Show me, so that I can move forward. So in that, okay, so you went to prison. God delivered you from that, so you wouldn't have to go back.
Right.
So that tells me why you give the way you do, and why you pour into people the way you do. Because I've been there. I can relate to you. In any situation, because even if it's not shoplifting, it's where you are, and that's part of you were broken, or you were longing after something, correct?
Yeah.
Or wanting something. So
I when I started stealing, I just became a product of my environment. When loaning, my mom, good mom, right? Good mom. We didn't want for nothing, right? It's the surroundings of the people, the problem of their environment, and that's what people don't understand. I had to get out of prison and change my daughter's environment. If I know if I wanted to give my daughter a chance in life, I was gonna have to change her environment.
Yeah.
Right? So I came home within 6 months. So I'm gonna tell you how God. Came home in 2006. 2008, I became a home. 2007, I got married. Okay? This is how it was. This how when God do it, faith, set it up. Just like that. Boom, 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 boom. 2006, I came home. 2007, I got married. 2008, we bought a house. 2010, I became $1 million business owner.
Talk to him, Debra.
I'm just gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? God blew my mind, but I stayed with Him. Like the woman, I was telling you, the woman with the issue of blood. Yeah. Right? I said that all she did was touch the hem of God, His garment, right? And He stopped. They never named the woman, and they asked her. He said, "Who touched me?" And she said, "Me, my Lord." She got his attention just by touching the hem of His garment. She could have been. But if she would have never spoke, He wouldn't have never delivered her or made her whole. But because she opened up her mouth, He said, "I got you, my daughter." He said, "Because you have surrendered, you have opened up your mouth.
That part.
I got you." So with that being said, I'm not afraid to open up my mouth and say, "It's me, oh Lord."
Right.
In any situation in my life. Right? So even with a situation I just happened to me, and I was wrong because our pride to get in the way of some things, right?
Right. If you let it.
If you let it.
Yeah.
But Bishop had put me over the event. It was the King's table.
I remember that. That was
right?
beautiful.
And this God just doing came in like a wind and was changing some stuff. And I was asking God, because I don't believe I don't like titles.
Yeah.
Right? I just come in church and I serve, I get a word, and I'm out the door. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my focus. That's what's gonna save my life. Not being around trying to know people business, being in their business and stuff like that, right? So I come and grab my word and I make it work for me, right? So with that being said, I had some stuff that I had before God, but I know that I wanted to do some things for my bishop, right? Yeah. And I knew what my nephew then was facing. And when Bishop called me out and put me over with Sister Carrie with that event, and ever since then, ever since Bishop did that, man, it's been a win like, whoa. Yeah. Like, it's just been so crazy for me. Yeah. Because of obedience. Because of what I told God I was going to do. And what I was going to do for my bishop. What I wanted to do for my bishop. Mm-hmm. You know, so ever since then, God just been opening up doors and pouring me out. Because I got a lot of men of God, you know, that's, you know, love me. Like, from my old church, you know, so, you know, I don't have an issue with fathers, you know, my daddy being absent and stuff like that. Cause
I love it. So what about in all of this? I heard you say your daughter. So your daughter. How old did you have your daughter when you went to prison?
Yeah, I had not while I was in prison. Before. I was Les is my miracle child. Mm-hmm. I was 14 when I first had my baby. And I had a tubal pregnancy, right? Mm-hmm. So the doctor told me that I wasn't going to be able to conceive any more kids. Mm-hmm. And 6 months later, 9 months later, I conceived Lexus. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, I haven't been able to have another child after that. Mm-hmm. You know, because I miscarried because of the tubal pregnancy. Mm-hmm. So Liz is my miracle child. She's the only daughter I have outside of my husband. He have 3 girls. Those are my babies too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Liz is my only child.
Okay. So what was that process like? You know, I heard you say when you got out of prison, you knew you had to change her environment. Right. But what was that like dealing with it while you were in there? Was that your motivation outside of your faith? Like,
so I knew if I thought about my child while I was in there, because that's my weakest. Yeah. Yeah. So, me and Liz is finna get ready to do a podcast together of our story. Mm-hmm. Because we never know how to affect our children.
Talk about it.
And, coming home trying to make up for that, right? Mm-hmm. I just knew I wanted to break generational curses concerning my family. And I knew I had to start with my daughter first. Mm-hmm. And it was hard. But when God gave me that confirmation to let me know that He had her, it made it easier. But I got out and I just knew I had to change it. So I stood with her. I started with her, me and her, so that my family would follow. Mm-hmm, you know, so but it was hard, you know, because her daddy was incarcerated too. Mm-hmm. And it's sometimes a struggle because she's my only child. Right. So we always have. Mm-hmm. So I have to try to make sure that I be the best mom and the best example concerning my child. Yes. Most people may say, she ain't no baby. Because I say my baby.
My baby.
That's my baby. That's my only baby. Yeah. Right? And everything that I done went through, she went through it with me. with people hurting me.
Ooh.
You know, you wanted the best for people. She's seeing people hurt her mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not all the time that I done made good, right decisions, but I know how to treat people.
Right.
And I know if I know how to treat people, then God gonna honor whatever it is that I'm believing in Him for.
Right.
And He has shown that. God has, it's no way that a little girl from Gay City, you know what I'm saying, will be sitting behind a desk running daycares.
Talk
because
about it.
statistics say because of 9 times out of 10, because of me being in prison or whatever, that I didn't have a chance. And statistics say that by my daughter too.
Right.
That because of her dad was in prison for 7 years, and I was in prison for 5 years, that she was going to eventually be in prison. That's what statistics say. But look at my daughter.
Come on now.
You know, like I have my daughter is, listen, she kept me while going through some things. When I wanted to get up, didn't want to even get up, she was going to beat me to church. You know what I'm saying? So she pulled me, you know, but I taught her who God was.
My mom.
So she was able to carry me and her. You know, even when I was going through my little thing in 4 years, my daughter was getting up and was beating me, and I'm just like, you know, and I'm struggling, you know, but me just raising her, you know, Lexus is, I don't know, sometimes I be wondering who child she is, because coming from me and her daddy, we was hell growing up, you know. But going back to say, a little girl from Gay City, I would have never thought that I'd be in the position that I am right now.
God is faithful.
He's definitely faithful. That's why I tell people that when I got my business, I didn't even have an education. That's how God covered me, y'all.
Yeah.
So they said, the paperwork said that you're supposed to have a high school diploma, all of this. Now, my background was clear.
Right.
But God covered me that I didn't get my education until 3 years in my business. I didn't have to pay nobody to do that for me. I didn't have to scan what they say, they scan their paperwork in and stuff like that. God covered me for 3 years, y'all.
If it's His will,
before I even got licensed over at DHR, I was up on a church exempt, but I didn't even have an education. Y'all, I struggled in school. I struggled where I couldn't even read, write, and spell correctly. I was still learning.
God is faithful.
I didn't have nothing. That's why when they say that you need a degree or anything, that's a lie. You just need faith, baby.
Yes, and the vision that God gives you. Because I hear a lot of people, and what I've been dealing with lately is that if you, just because I can do it, that doesn't mean I'm supposed to do it. You know, so whatever God gives you to do, that's what you pursue. You know what I'm saying? That's what you stand on. And whatever He gives you to do, He's going to make sure that it's taken care of. You know, you were prophesied about the daycare, right?
Right.
So He made sure He wasn't studying. Debra, I ain't studying your education, baby. I put you here to do this, so this is what I'm going to do for you.
Yes, and He did it.
And your testimony that you did on live, girl, had me in tears. Let me tell you something.
Listen.
Let me tell you something. That right there, and all those obstacles that you had to go through, all the things that you had to endure in order for you to, it's still purpose. That's what I'm trying to get to. Even though you had to hop over all these hurdles, God still cleared your business, because this is what He ordained you to do.
And it's funny because I had to have the right attitude while I went through that. Right? Listen, I'm a good person. I know I am. I'm loving. I would give you the shirt off my back, right? And I know who I am when it comes to people. I love people, right? Like I love people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you do that to me?
Yeah.
You do that to me? And you still sit here eating from my table.
Debra, don't get me started.
You still here eating from my table. They had to call DHR, Health Department. They all came in there at the same time, right? And I'm just like, I was coming in the door and seeing you, and I asked you, I said, did you call DHR on me? And she said, no, man, I didn't do that. And I said, okay. And I know you did it. I know for a fact you did it. And I called my assistant, Miss Johnson. I said, I can't come in here and not boot up her. Right?
Glad you did. You know?
Because I would have been in jail or whatever.
Sometimes we think that.
So I'm like, man, this a snake. And Bishop was teaching him. He had said something about that snake will look you in your face, right? And I was like, oh my God. That snake looked me in my face and say, no, ma'am, Miss Bush, I didn't do that. Right? So I came in here. I came in there with the right attitude. It's always necessary. Came in there with the right attitude. That's why when you're going through things, you got to have the right attitude.
Yes.
Because if I wouldn't have had the right attitude, God wouldn't have been able to bless me like he did, baby. He said, I go and prepare a meal before you in the presence of your enemy.
Talk to him.
Where they got to watch you
Talk to him.
They was trying to shut me down and all of that. But every time they came, they couldn't find nothing. Nothing. I didn't get upset. I just said, okay. I said, God, you doing this for a reason. And that's when Bishop told me about the event, right? And when I did the event, every time they came, they was saying, well, we can't find them, Miss Bush. They couldn't find nothing. I had got 100 on my help thing. My DHR, she came. All my files and all of that was in order because I'm like that anyway. Like listen, you ain't gonna be able to get me in that area. When it come to my business, I'm A to Z. Like I don't play when it come to my business. Like I would go without concerning my business. I'm gonna make sure every paperwork is in order because I knew once I got my daycare, they were gonna be like, they were saying I had a dead lady night, right? So I knew they was gonna come for me.
Hold up, what now? What they said?
When I first opened up my daycare, they said I had a dead lady's name, which is my godmom. She is dead, but they was trying to say that I had the paperwork in her name. It's just people.
Because they didn't believe that the power
of God. They like how she just get out of prison, and she get a daycare, right? Let alone because they don't know 3 daycares. They don't know the guy, right? So they thinking that I wouldn't, but the case that I had didn't prohibit me from getting a daycare.
Exactly.
Okay, so they was just going online saying I had a daycare. But nevertheless, I'm very structured, right? I do things decent and in order. Like I'm gonna do it right. I'm just not gonna do it at all.
Right.
Because that keeps the enemy out of your territory. So I don't have room for that. So I make sure I do right, and I make sure I pay people, and I do what's right. So when they came in, they didn't have nothing, but man, the blessing that came behind it.
It's always a blessing.
Oh my God, the blessing that came behind all of that. I thank God I shut my mouth.
Okay.
I said, is this all I had to do?
Exactly.
Just shut up. Because sometimes we don't want to shut our mouth. We need to just shut up sometimes.
And let him do his
thing. And let God do what he gonna do. Exactly. And that be the hardest thing for us, right?
Most definitely.
So I just shut up, man. And from June, it's just been so crazy for me. He's just been doing amazing things, and I'm grateful.
So we covered how God brought you through prison. We covered, your career journey. We covered motherhood. Let's talk about this love thing. What does love look like for you, right? Oh, she's smiling. I want to know this. What does love look like for you right now?
So, listen, I've been celibate for 2 years, right? Not just married to God.
Okay.
Just married to God.
What's that journey like?
Oh, man. Listen, I tell anybody, find yourself. Like, self-love is everything. Just having that peace, being able to, and I had to do that, right? Because I can,
I see that.
I had to, because
God is not the little one.
just being married to God.
Come on now.
Because I've been through some stuff, right? In my marriage, I left my marriage prematurity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that, because it was neither one of our faults. It's just the emotions got the best of us.
We let that do that.
And then I made a decision out of my emotion and I left my marriage, right? But I wasn't leaving my marriage to leave my marriage. I was trying to scare him. So I was like, I'm just going to separate and hopefully he come fighting back for his good thing.
Okay.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't trying to leave my husband. I just wanted him to get it together. Right? My ex-husband.
Boy, you see me.
So, they said when you are married, you don't supposed to separate. Because when you separate, that opened the door for the enemy to come in. And oh boy, did he come in. He came in smelling good, talking good. That snake went no good. Right? And for long, I was, involved with somebody else.
Yeah.
The devil. Because the grass ain't always green on the other side.
Talk about it.
Right? And when I tell you, it cost me. And it cost me because I was not supposed to move until God told me. Even though that man wasn't doing what he's supposed to do, and I wanted God to deal with him according to how I wanted God to deal with him.
Ooh.
I still was supposed to stay there and shut my mouth. And that's the hardest thing for us to do. And pray.
That's it.
And I'm like, how you gonna let him get away with that? And I'm over here, I'm going to church, and I'm praising God, and I'm praying for us, and he just sitting back here doing what he want to do. Right? This is what I'm telling God.
Right.
And God said, shut your mouth and get your mouth off of that man. Let me deal with him according to how I see fit, just like I dealt with you.
Right.
But I wanted God to do it right then. Right? I wanted him to do it right then.
Don't we always?
I'm like, how you letting him get away with this? And I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And he just sitting here acting like he don't have a care in the world. God said, I got him. And when we went to the Woman I Lose in Atlanta, T.D. Jakes had said something about, he said...
This time?
No.
Oh, when
we was in Atlanta. And he said something about when they had threw their brother in the pits. They had Joseph. They threw his brother and came back and told their daddy that he was dead, right? And T.D.J. said, you got to be a dirty something to come back and tell your daddy that your brother was dead after you done threw him in the lions, right? He said, I don't want y'all to ever forget, because they was going through all kind of hell. And they sat there and said, you think that the reason why we going through this because of what we did to our brother? It took them 13 years to realize what they did to their brother, the reason why they was catching hell. And TDJ said, don't think that God ain't putting them on your mind by how they did you. Even if it's 13 years, God is reminding them of how they treated you.
Right. And
at that very moment, I got delivered from that whole situation. Because I was still holding on to the marriage. I was still wanting the marriage to work out. So God said, I am putting it in his mind. And I'm dealing with him. And I started looking how everything going on in his life. And I said, not saying karma, but God showing me that the way he treated you, so I got delivered and set free, because I was thinking that it was something that I did, and it was something that I did too. It wasn't just him; it was me and him, because I did move prematurity, because based on my emotions and how I wanted God to deal with him. But going back to say I'm selling it, and I've been selling it for 2 years, and it's been just me and God, and I'm loving every moment of it. My thoughts are clear. Yeah. Because I'm preparing myself for my good thing. What God has for me. And I'm not looking for him.
Talk about
Listen, God told me that I was going to be married again. Yeah. So I'm not going out there looking for nobody. Yeah. My husband going to find me.
Talk about
God showed me that. So I'm preparing myself for that. I'm it's a lot of men be trying to talk to me, be in my DM or Facebook, be trying to holler at me, but they ain't the one.
Yeah. You gonna know.
You heard what
That's
I
They
said.
told me.
They ain't the one.
You better know it.
So with that being
that.
said, because I'm a pretty decent girl, so
I know. Big deal.
Yeah, not the little one. So I be dating, and it ain't nothing serious. I talk over the phone with people. I'm gonna say that. I haven't been. I've been on a date. Yes, I have. Yeah, I've been on a date.
Oh, she's
I just went on a date. But and it was nice.
This is what I want to know, because I'm right there with you. What does that look like? Like, cause it's not always easy to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna clink.
Discipline.
That's it. But
discipline.
Okay, the most definitely discipline. But I'm saying, like, what is that journey like? So I want to know about in the people. What about the struggles? How do you overcome that? Because it's not.
I didn't try. It just happened. When I set my mind on Him and the things of God, then I don't even think about it. I don't think about it.
Seek you first.
It don't. Seek Him first. Yeah. And everything will be added to you. So I don't let my mind go. I'm with my grandbaby all the time.
Yeah.
I'm doing things with her. I'm bringing her up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hipping my daughter with her. So like my mind is not even. And then I'm showing my daughter. Because that's another generation curse, right? In our family, right? Yeah. Well, they feel like they have to have a man.
Yeah.
Back my grandma, my aunts, my mama, they feel like they have to have a man with them, right? So I'm showing my daughter that you can have all what God says for you.
Right.
You don't have to have a man in your bed mistreating you.
You don't.
No, I'm very submissive when it comes to a man. Like I want that, but I want what God has for me. I don't want to. He gonna have to stand beside me. Like he gonna have to. Like he gonna be able to.
So what that look like for you?
What you mean?
The one.
The one. Like,
what that look like?
Yeah, he gonna be able. He first he gonna have to know Christ.
Relationship. They need to be married too.
He gonna have to have a whole lot of cash.
You heard that?
He gonna have to have a car. But that's what that look like for me. I'm not selling. I done that. I'm not selling like I know what I know who I am. I know I know
a difference.
That
makes a difference.
Listen, I'm not selling. You gonna have to be able to carry. We together, we carry each other. I'm not feeling. I don't need no little boy. I don't need nobody I gotta raise.
That part.
That ain't happening. I have the example in front of me. My bishop and my first lady. I know what I can have. I see it. I see it daily.
You see when every time he come off.
I see how my bishop loves. She grabbed him, embraced him.
Every time. I
was looking at that picture, right? I know, and then people be want to say that y'all want to be looking at these pastors and thinking they faithful to their wife. My bishop is.
You better act like you know.
I know my bishop is.
You better act like you know.
Hey, I know what I can have. You can't tell me when I got my dad showing me how to.
Come on now. And then I just got to go back to that. So after he done poured into us.
Right.
This what gets me. After he done poured into us, and he get up there, he teaching, and he just getting into it. And as soon as he finished, because you know that it drains him a little, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like when she hugs him, she just put
it back into him,
That's what we need.
Blow it back into him.
Our daddy won't let us settle, okay?
I be right there. I be right there paying attention,
every time.
I'm there,
and sometimes he don't even have to say nothing, just to how they're in tune.
Yeah.
And they look at each other. That's love, and that's the love that God ordained us to have. We gonna get that.
Yeah.
Debra, I look.
But
we can talk all
I
day.
tell people, don't give up.
Yeah.
Do not give up on your dreams. Just know that God is just who He say He is. Because if He did it for me, He'll do it for you. Again, little girl coming out of Gate City Projects, right? I never thought that I'd see myself right here, Walnut today. Yeah. But it was my faith that did it. It was my faith that landed me just believing in God for the impossible.
Yes.
I never thought that you talking about Debra, Smith, Didi, all I did was fight in school. Like, I used to fight because that was my way of getting out of the classroom, keep me from doing the work because I was scared to know, to do the work. So that was that was my way, my scapegoat of just, getting out of the classroom. So I built that name for myself,
But I love it. So you have overcame so much, and you have shown us today that trust God through the process. Not only trust God through your process, trust and lean and depend on Him. Take accountability and wait on Him.
Right.
Wait on His answer,
right.
And make sure your heart posture is good and your attitude is good when you're facing, adversities and difficult things. So listen. Oh, and we also celebrate. So you don't have to give it up.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You trust and you lean and you depend on God, and He gonna make a way at all times.
And I'm finna get ready and do my women's of colors tea. And that's why I didn't want to share too much because we're gonna talk about it in the event. But man, it's already like 83 people, and that's how I know God is preparing me for that. That's why He did this with you,
right? Because
I wouldn't never talk about like this here, like this ain't me. Like I can talk to you over the phone and I can tell you like, hold on and da 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 da. But talking in a group of women, like everybody don't know my story. They don't know who I was to who I am now.
But what I love about you, I'm not trying to cut you off. What I love about you is your transparency. You don't, and you say that to me, and you talk, and you talk to my sister, but it's like, it's so many other women that need that. Yeah. And so many other women need that encouragement because, like I said, I go into the jails when they're released, and some of them don't have any hope. And I love the fact that you said, when you were talking about, getting away from that crowd, because sometimes when the women are released from jail, we send them to a different city because they're like, Coach K, if I go back, that's the same people. That's all I know. So I love that, and like your life has shown it's showing so many people. Once you really grab a hold of God and believe who you are in God, because you have to have confidence in yourself.
Right,
Not being cocky, but you have to have confidence in the vision and in the things that God has given you in order to take your life to the next level. And you can overcome that. You stop stealing. That was an addiction, basically, right?
Right. It was a money addiction.
And what people don't realize, drug is not the only thing you can be addicted to. It's so many other things that you can be addicted to. I was addicted to love, the wrong love. Now I know what God is, and so I'm learning to lean and depend on that. But I just love you. I love everything that you stand for. I love that it's real because, like Rakita tells us, if you don't reveal it, you ain't gonna heal. If you don't be real, you ain't gonna heal.
It's not for you. Your faith is. I had to learn that it's not for me. It's for somebody else.
Indeed.
Okay. So I'm not doing this for me.
No, you know,
and it be hurtful.
And the hurt
it hurts because people will see where you've been in your life. I got so much, like, people saying that she changed her circle, she thinks she this and that, and da 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 da. Because you wanted me to stay where you at.
Yeah.
Where you at.
Yeah.
You think, she got a housekeeper now.
Yeah.
She got this now, she got that, which in the house that I had, I always had my auntie and my godmama Lovejoy to clean my house. So in the house that I had, I always had that, right? So now that they see I have a housekeeper or whatever. So people want you to stay where they at. And I'm like, you mad because you still right there because I want to elevate? Oh, well, you can stay mad. You can stay mad as hell.
And I'm going to grow.
Because I'm going to continue to grow. Booster said, people don't think that you're supposed to be in your position, right?
Yeah.
He said, that's why I had to move from Baton Rouge to Atlanta. He said, because they went to school with you and they know you.
Yeah.
Right? So now that they think, you where you at, they don't think that you deserve to be where you at. So they'll start robbing you, breaking in your houses and your cars because they don't think you're supposed to be in your position. Yeah. He said, but if you go over there to Atlanta, they don't know you. So they're not going to try to break in your cars and steal your stuff. Yeah. It's the ones that feel as though because they grew up with you, you owe them something. Yeah. So they think that I owe them something.
Even family sometimes.
Definitely family.
Yeah.
But nobody did those 5 years with me but my mama and my godmama and my grandma, right?
Yeah.
But they'll think, your family will. They would think that you owe them something. Nobody took care of my daughter while I was incarcerated, but her auntie, my daughter could have went through DHR custody, right? Nobody saw about my daughter.
Yeah.
Nobody never wrote me or saw about my daughter but my best friend Dominique, right? But you think that I owe you something? You think that I'm because you think that I got some money I'm supposed to give you something?
Yeah.
I don't owe nobody nothing but God. And that's why I give him all of me. Because that's who I owe it to. Nobody else. But I don't mistreat people. I still love you.
Yeah.
But I don't owe you nothing. And they do get it twisted. They do get it twisted. But at the end of that, what I'm going to say, and let that be done, I don't let that stop me from going where God is,
called you to go, right?
Called me to go, because people don't like me. A lot of people have hurt me.
That comes with
it felt like the whole city was against me 4 years ago. People that sit at my table ate from me. People that I helped. It's one situation came and showed me everybody. And it prepared me for my season that I'm in now. And those same people that did that had to come back around and apologize to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But those same ones that I fed, loaned money to, was the same ones mistreated me, talked about me, wanted to see me fail.
Yeah.
Those same ones. And you think now that God is
lost, but separate.
Listen, I separate. You gotta separate yourself from them people. Level up.
Yeah.
Go get around. Yeah, I'm gonna be sitting in the room with the mayor, the DA, whoever, my bishop. What? Yeah, I'm sitting at different tables. My late bishop told me. He said, sometimes you have to get in a room of people that you don't know. He said, go to the golf court, the clubs. He said, if you ain't got no money, he said, just order a drink of water. Pertinent information don't cost a thing.
You better know it.
If you just get in the room and get pertinent information, it'll work for you. He said, listen to how they talk.
Yeah.
See how they posture yourself. Right? He said, because what they talking about can help you.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And I prayed that when my late bishop, when he passed, that God would send me somebody that'll, teach me the way he did. That's when I joined Refresh
Nation.
In the year 2014. I joined. Because he's everything that I prayed for. And I sit there and I listen to the teaching.
Man.
And it's pertinent information don't cost a thing once you get in the room. So sometimes I just be in the room, but I'm listening.
Yeah.
Even when I'm in church, I listen.
You have to.
And I take it back and I make it work for me in my life. So I'm not going to church just to go because it's a theme.
Come on now.
It's a trend.
Come on now.
I'm making it work for me in my life. People can say what they want to say, but I'm going to make sure that I'm there and I'm getting what I'm supposed to do. Getting what I'm supposed to. No matter what church you go to. Yeah. If you're not making it work for you, then you're going to still end up how you was when you left out that door.
Yeah.
So I make it work for me. I don't care about a clique, friends and stuff like that. I love people.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make it work for Debra Bush.
You better know it. Big Deb, y'all heard her. Well, I have enjoyed you. So I know you always give back with the daycare. Do you have anything that you're working on right now? Any fundraisers or anything?
We're not working on a fundraiser, but we're working on something. Hopefully it'll be done by November.
Okay, well let us know. Let us know so we can get it out there.
Yeah, y'all see her. Is let me tell you. It's funny how God will send you the right people. The ones that they'll say that they stole your money and gonna take your money from you. And I was going through some stuff in my business while I was trying to get it organized, right? So I reached out to Bishop. He sent me to my nays. So when he sent me to my nays, the my nays sent me somebody, right? So this somebody, she finna get ready in her business.
Start her business.
But you know, they didn't want her there for me, right? They were saying she was gonna steal my money and all that, right? She never did nothing but work for her paycheck. But come November, God is finna do something amazing with her, and I'm so excited.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the next project, you know, because I tell people, don't just sit up under me and work for me.
That's what I
learn something. Too. Now she finna take over. She was scared. She didn't want to do it.
Okay.
She didn't want to do it, but yeah.
Take over. Yeah. Keep us posted. So again, I appreciate you more than you know. You know, last night I was just like, I'm excited. I'm ready. So I thank you. I thank you for your transparency. I thank you for your heart. I thank you for your dedication to the community, to the kids that you serve, you know, to, you know, your church that you serve. And just keep letting God shine his light. And tell the people, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they know who I am. They watching. No, just
Big Deb.
No. Seriously. I have the Facebook page, Debra Bush, and my Instagram, Debra Bush. Everything is Debra Bush. You know, so nevertheless, y'all reach out. You know, you want your kids to have a safe environment, daycare, where they learn, because I do teach. I was going to hit on that. I am a daycare where I teach kids.
Yes.
You know, we hands-on with them. The teacher's not there just to babysit. We really do teach the kids. And I can say this, each child has graduated from me has been a honor roll student.
Love it.
Listen, and I'm not just bragging. I'm not just trying to sell nothing, because I get my kids by word of mouth. Word of mouth. I do the work, you know. So I have a safe environment, clean and safe environment.
It is.
You know, so if you want your kids, well, right now I have a waiting list of 42 students. So I'm looking for another building to open up a daycare. And I'm helping people open up daycares. And my friend Tan, she finna get ready and do a seminar on how to, you know, if you want to open up a child care facility, and I'm gonna help her with that. But nevertheless, I have an event center, Royalty Event Center, have Airbnb. So yeah, we just you know, taking over this season. Just taking over.
We can't take over.
Yeah, we can't
take over. That's what
take
our daddy
over.
teach us.
That's exactly what he teaches us. But I just want y'all to just stay encouraged and just know that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was all God.
Yes.
I tell people it was God. If you're gonna be mad at somebody, be mad at God. Because sometimes I don't know what God is doing for me in my life. Right. You know, right now, like even with this women's color event, I just wanted to get together with some of my friends and just have a good old time like we did for my birthday party. But it done turned into something big. So, you know, it's not me. It's God, y'all. You know, just hold fast to his promise. You know, just know that his promises are yes and amen. And know that God is just who he say he is. If you can just, you know, taste and see the goodness of God and all that he is for you, have done and to you, you know, and just, but yeah.
Yes. Trust the God. And then
just trust the process.
Yes, and if you want to come get a whiff of what we got, you can come to Refresh Nation, Refresh Family Church with Apostle Stephen A. Davis.
Because you need a covenant. You can't do it without a covenant. You have to have a covenant.
Yes.
You know, I tell people, you know, I don't try to beat God on people.
Yeah.
But my lifestyle is going to represent who I am.
That part. And represent
you know, represent who he is.
Right.
I don't try to, you know, you come to me, I'm going to tell you about the goodness of God and all he's been to me. But at the end of the day, I can't force you to get it.
Ain't no need to force it.
I ain't finna, you know, try to pull a tooth out of you and make you get this thing, honey, because it's good.
Because he don't even force us.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So again, you guys, I appreciate you for joining us today for our very first free corner with Debra Bush. She always making me cry and stuff, but I thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you next Tuesday. Have a great day.
I hope I did good for you.
You did amazing.